Hey guys, Justin Nelson here, CEO of Sphere Rocket VA, and like I said in the previous intro, we are going to cover the top 20 positions you should be hiring in your business. Now, it's going to be a 20-part video series. Today, we are going to cover just part one of the top 20 positions. Now, this is going to be our real estate edition, so if you're a real estate agent, keep sticking around, watch through this. If you're not, feel free to jump into one of our other videos, but even if you're not, most of these positions are still going to apply to any small business. So before we dive in, make sure that you guys like, subscribe, hit the bell button to think all things virtual assistant. So let's dive in. The very first position that I recommend anybody hire. Now, these videos are gonna kind of go in chronological order of who we think you should hire if you don't have anybody in mind in the order that I think you should hire them in, but it's not a standard guide, right? When you have a business, everybody runs their business differently. You might already have assistants in your business, team members. You might have no one. It might just be you. You might just be a solopreneur, a solo agent. So keep that in mind. So, however, if you kind of need a little bit of a general guide, this is the order I would hire people in. And so the very first one we would hire, if you're hiring a virtual assistant, is an executive admin. Usually an executive admin you can find for around $4 an hour. So if you've never watched any of our videos about virtual assistants, the pricing around those, make sure you guys watch some of our other videos that dispel some of the myths, some of the pros, some of the cons of VAs. But we're just going to assume for this 20-part series that you understand the dollar per hour rates I give you are feasible and it's something that can be achieved. We know this because we've placed over 4,500 plus virtual assistants. And so with today's number one, executive admin. What does an executive admin do? What is their job role? What do they cost? How do we know if that job role is being effective? Those are all things I'm going to cover now. So executive admin, what's an executive admin do? An executive admin usually is someone's very first virtual assistant hire if they don't have a ton of staff, if they don't have a ton of existing admin, or if you do have a ton of existing staff or you do have a ton of admin, it's just gonna differ the role. So if you don't have much admin on staff, your first executive admin is really gonna come in to help clean up all the messes of the things that you, number one, already are doing and shouldn't be doing. So that's number one. Or number two are the things that you should be doing that you're not doing at all. So like, let me give you an example of this. If you are currently checking your email 10 times a day, having to sort it, delete it, try to make your inbox clean, maybe you are like me, how I used to be, 50,000 emails in my inbox, 5,000 unread text messages. These are the types of things that an executive admin would come in and do, right? They would take over email sorting, text message sorting, right? Facebook message sorting, all these things of tasks that you are already doing and need to be doing, but you shouldn't be doing anymore, right? An example of something that you might not be doing that you should be doing would be like tax receipts, right? Whenever you go out and take your clients out for a lunch or you buy something on the way to work, supplies, and you should be taking the receipts and putting them in storage so that way if you ever get audited at the end of the year, tax returns, right? So many people I know spend so much unnecessary time at the end of the year trying to go back and find out all this information, right? Maybe tracking your miles, your expenses, all things that an executive admin could be doing for you. So today I just wanted to share a few of the things that my executive admin team does for me so that way you guys can kind of get a little bit idea of what an executive admin does. Obviously, most of you guys know I've been in real estate. So here are the things that my executive admin does for me. The very first thing they did, kind of like I mentioned just a minute ago, is they do email management. They track all emails into my inbox and make sure that anything coming in is sorted. What we figure out is 80+% of our emails can be sorted almost right away, and then 20% is left with either the virtual assistant initially doesn't know what to do with and just brings them to the top of your inbox, keeps it clean. So that way when you log in, you're looking at only the most important stuff. Or number two, they also could just be able to answer those, right? Over time, your virtual assistant's gonna learn how to answer things as they get to know the business, get to know you a little bit better. So that's number one that my executive admin does for me is email management. Number 2 thing they do for me is calendar management, right? So whether I'm going to attend someone's meeting, whether they're attending my meeting, whether it's me leaving a meeting, post-meeting, my virtual assistant executive admin is taking care of all things around my schedule. And so if someone's meeting with me, my virtual assistant is confirming throughout the day with that person to make sure that they're still gonna show up, right? There's no need for me to take a meeting if they're gonna end up bailing or if something comes up in their life and they just didn't tell me. Same thing goes with me going to a meeting, right? If I'm going to a meeting, I'm gonna confirm that that person's still on the right time, still gonna be there, etc. Then my executive admin takes over everything post-meeting, right? If I leave a great meeting, I wanna stay in contact with that person, or it's a good business meeting, it's a sales meeting, whatever that looks like, I am then gonna have my executive admin do the follow-up. So for example, if I'm going on a listing appointment, I leave the listing appointment, my VA should know that, right? Because everything's in the calendar, so they're gonna send a thank you card, a little gift box in the mail, right? My executive admin's gonna call me and go, hey Justin, is there anything I need to add to your to-do list for later inside of a Google Doc so when you get back to the office after your next appointment? You know, because a lot of times we go to a listing appointment, then we go run off and show buyers, and then we go up and meet someone else for coffee, and then we get back to the office to do all of our work, or even better yet, we go back home into the chaos of having family around us, and then we forget what we even offered people, right? We tell them we're gonna do this and this, and then we just spend the next 30 minutes trying to even figure out what's going on. And so number 2 thing that my virtual assistant does for me is everything revolving around my schedule. Number 3, my virtual assistant is in charge of what I call everything the life of Justin, right? So I have a document called the life of Justin, and this virtual assistant is in charge of that. So they know everything from my social security numbers, my phone numbers, how to pay my house bills, right? They know how to do a lot of my bookkeeping. So one thing an executive admin does for me each month is they'll log in and just make sure I'm not spending too much money. They'll go in and look for subscriptions. They'll go through that. And they'll also, when I say everything life of Justin, they also know what my favorite hotel to stay at. They know all the restaurants I go to. They know who my barber is. They know who my dentist is. They know who my doctor is. They know where I shop. They know where I like to go on vacations. This is something that I teach my executive admin virtual assistant, so that way all these little things add up over time. Let's say that in the morning I'm like, I need to go to the dentist. Instead of me calling the dentist, scheduling an appointment on my morning huddle, I was like, hey, can you get me a dentist appointment for 2 weeks when I have a moment, right? Something the virtual assistant can take care of, schedule, put it on your calendar, etc. For a lot of people that I coach, an executive admin in this arena of everything the life of Justin, they would also be taking care of kids and family members. So this executive assistants usually scheduling out dates, helping me with that, scheduling out vacations, doing vacation research, booking flights, booking hotels. They're also in charge of helping me manage kids, right? I don't personally have kids, but after coaching thousands of clients, a lot of executive admins are helping watch their kids. They're checking the Ring cameras to make sure their kids got on home time. They know all the kids' upcoming school plays and choirs and sports schedules. And it's just a lot of that brain work that no one would ever know if you had an executive assistant every day reminding you, hey, your son Bob's practice is at 4 o'clock, make sure you're there. I'll send you a reminder at 3:30. They're really supposed to be a really close partner of yours in the business. When I tell people that you hire an executive admin to do everything for you that's in your life, that's even sometimes a little bit personal, right? In the next episode, we're gonna be talking personal assistant. A lot of times what happens is when you hire an executive admin, they're gonna come in and fix a lot of your business tasks that you need to do on a daily basis, and they'll probably start off by doing a lot of personal tasks too that bleed over, because that's just as stressful sometimes as the business, until you hire a personal assistant, which is usually your second hire. That's usually gonna be also the executive admin's job, is somewhere along the lines of a lot of your personal items. And so really when you think about executive admins, this is something that you're gonna be putting things off onto their plate that you could have never imagined. So before we end this video, just wanted to give you a few things that my executive admin does. Before this video ends, I want you guys to think about this. Imagine an exercise called the GoPro exercise. Imagine you strapped a GoPro to yourself for 2 weeks straight. This is something I've done. I absolutely love to do it. Imagine taping a GoPro to yourself for 2 weeks straight, and then you record everything you do during those next 2 weeks, right? everything from how much time do you use picking up your phone and using social media to like post and heart post, right? How much time do you spend grocery shopping? How much time do you spend walking to the fridge? How much time do you, like, just analyzing everything you do. And what you're gonna realize is that there is over 389 things that you probably do that you shouldn't be doing. Right here, I'm just gonna throw up on the screen real fast. This is from one of the presentations I traveled the nation and teach. These are over 389 things that I personally do that I should not be doing, right? So I'm also gonna throw up a QR code right here, which is gonna be a list of the top 400 plus things that virtual assistants do for me in my business. Now this list is gonna be not only for just executive admins, it's gonna span the list of the next 20 hires or 19 hires that we are gonna talk to you about in this video series of the top 20 hires real estate edition that we recommend you hire. So remember, a lot of times when you're only hiring certain people, the tasks are eventually gonna change. So it might start off as an executive admin task and it might move to a personal assistant. It might move to an accounting VA. You know, for example, receipt tracking, my executive admin did for years until we hired an accounting VA. So remember, business is a progression, but I wanna give you this 400 task list so that way you can start to think of all the tasks that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing. So with that being said, the very first hire I believe and know with my heart that you should be making for most real estate agents is an executive assistant. Now, each and every video along the way is gonna have a few links in the description. It is gonna have a link to number one, the job description that we recommend for that position. Number two, it's gonna have a link to the daily schedule of that position. And link number three, it's gonna have a link to the job KPIs for that position. It's also gonna have number four, a link of the 30, 60, 90 onboarding schedule that we recommend for that position. These are just a few files that we give to some of our clients that use Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistant. So as always, if you are ever looking for us to help you get a virtual assistant, especially an executive admin, we are here to help you. Sphere Rocket's placed over 4,500 plus virtual assistants. So if you guys need to also grab a time in the link below to grab a virtual assistant from you, we are more than here to help you. But with that being said, number one hire should be an executive admin. The number two hire, you'll just have to stick around for the next video to learn what it is.